Overview. How do Popular SQL Database Management System, or DBM. What is SQL and where did it come from? How do the SQL tools vary across database applications from different vendors? How will SQL change in the future? You'll find the answers to all these questions and many more in SQL. The complete reference. Much more than just a listing of SQL commands and their parameters, we explain the concepts and constructs of SQL programming such that non-technical readers will understand them and technical readers won't be bored. Chapter 1: Introduction. Overview. The SQL language and relational database systems based on it are one of the most important foundation technologies in the computer industry today. Over the last decade, the popularity of SQL has exploded, and it stands today as the standard computer database language. Literally, hundreds of database products now support SQL, running on computer systems from mainframes to personal computers and even handheld devices. An official international SQL standard has been adopted and expanded twice. Virtually every major enterprise software product relies on SQL for its data management. And SQL is at the core of the database products from Microsoft and Oracle, two of the largest software companies in the world. From its obscure beginnings as an IBM research project, SQL has leaped to prominence as both an important computer technology and a powerful market force. What exactly is SQL? Why is it important? What can it do, and how does it work? If SQL is really a standard, why are there so many different versions and dialects? How do popular SQL products like SQL Server, Oracle, Informix, Sybase, and DB2 compare? How does SQL relate to Microsoft standards, such as ODBC and COM? How does JDBC link SQL to the world of Java and object technology? Does SQL really scale from mainframes to handheld devices? Has it really delivered the performance needed for high-volume transaction processing? How will SQL impact the way you use computers, and how can you get the most out of this important data management tool? The SQL language. SQL is a tool for organizing, managing, and retrieving data stored by a computer database. The name, SQL, is an abbreviation for Structured Query Language. For historical reasons, SQL has usually pronounced SQL, but the alternate pronunciation, SQL, is also used. As the name implies, SQL is a computer language that you use to interact with a database. In fact, SQL works with one specific type of database called a relational database. How SQL works. The computer system in the picture has a database that stores important information. If the computer system is in a business, the database might store inventory, production, sales, or payroll data. On a personal computer, the database might store data about the checks you have written, lists of people and their phone numbers, or data extracted from a larger computer system. The computer program that controls the database is called a Database Management System, or DBMS. When you need to retrieve data from a database, you use the SQL language to make the request. The DBMS processes the SQL request, retrieves the requested data, and returns it to you. This process of requesting data from a database and receiving back the results is called a database query, hence the name Structured Query Language. The name structured query language is actually somewhat of a misnomer. First of all, SQL is far more than a query tool, although that was its original purpose, and retrieving data is still one of its most important functions. SQL is used to control all of the functions that a DBMS provides for its users, including data definition. SQL lets a user define the structure and organization of the stored data and relationships among the stored data items. Data retrieval. SQL allows a user or an application program to retrieve stored data from the database and use it. Data manipulation. SQL allows a user or an application program to update the database by adding new data, removing old data, and modifying previously stored data. Access control. SQL can be used to restrict a user's ability to retrieve, add, and modify data, protecting stored data against unauthorized access. Data sharing. SQL is used to coordinate data sharing by concurrent users, ensuring that they do not interfere with one another. Data integrity. SQL defines integrity constraints in the database, protecting it from corruption due to inconsistent updates or system failures. SQL is thus a comprehensive language for controlling and interacting with a database. Management system. Second, SQL is not really a complete computer language like COBOL, C, C++, or Java. SQL contains no if statement for testing conditions, and no go-to, do, or for statements for program flow control. Instead, SQL is a database sublanguage consisting of about 40 statements specialized for database management tasks. These SQL statements can be embedded into another language, such as COBOL or C, to extend that language for use in database access. Alternatively, they can be explicitly sent to a database management system for processing via a call-level interface from a language such as C, C++, or Java. Finally, SQL is not a particularly structured language, especially when compared to highly structured languages such as C, Pascal, or Java. Instead, SQL statements resemble English sentences complete with noise words that don't add to the meaning of the statement but make it read more naturally. There are quite a few inconsistencies in the SQL language, and there are also some special rules to prevent you from constructing SQL statements that look perfectly legal, but don't make sense. Despite the inaccuracy of its name, SQL has emerged as the standard language for using relational databases. SQL is both a powerful language and one that is relatively easy to learn.